The Firestick 4K Select is finally here, and despite what anybody else tells you in any video, don't buy it. And today I'm going to explain, based on all available information so far, exactly why you shouldn't. Amazon just had their yearly end of September release party where they talk about all their new products that are going to be coming out in October and November. This is usually where we get new streaming devices, TVs, and like Echo shows. The obvious standout this year was the brand new Vega OS Fire Stick Select. And oh man, I have a lot to say about it. If you're new to the channel, I go by UG Tech, and I try to help people like you save money on streaming services, or in this case, buying devices that I don't think are worth it yet, and learning how to optimize your device. If you want to support the channel, honestly, best thing you guys can do, subscribe down below. I appreciate it a lot. Let's get into the video. You're going to want to stick around for the full video because we can't just go over the specs like usual and be like, oh, more RAM. It's actually not that simple with the Fire Stick Select because, as you know, this is the first device that is not running Fire TV OS and is running Vega OS. So let's start by taking a look at the specs, and let me break down why they might not matter as much. So this is just for the Fire Stick Select right here. Now we know the list price is $39.99, so $40 USD. Now we're going to look at the comparison in a second. It's also running the MediaTek MT8698. Now MediaTek says this will fulfill powerful Android-based 4K Ultra HD output and high-ending gaming credentials. Just to go over that really quickly. Now they are releasing this on October 15th. I've obviously pre-ordered it because I have a job to do. I have to look over it. But I'm going to let you guys know why you shouldn't, or at least at launch at the very least, unless you're like so super interested. 4 CPU cores, 1.7 gigahertz. CPU score is, of course, unknown right now since they don't have their hands on it. GPU score is unknown. Now, this is the one that is going to confuse some people. 1 gigabyte of RAM. What is that? 1 gigabyte? The other ones have two, 1.5. What is going on here? Why are we going down? Now, let me explain why it's only 1 gigabyte. It's actually very simple. Vega OS is, yes, a Linux-based operating system. So is Android in a way, right? It's built off of it. But the difference here is it's built, I guess, closer to what Roku's is, where it's very lightweight and it just doesn't require a lot of RAM. Like there's not a lot of tasks it's performing. 1 gigabyte is going to be more than enough to operate this, where a lot of Android-based systems will have requirements for RAM, right? And the less RAM, of course, the cheaper you can make the device as well. And a couple other things that they also sawed off of the Select, which we're going to go over in a second. So that is the main reason why they don't have increased RAM. And honestly, why it just might not matter as much in this case. Like it's still going to be a fast device for what it's doing. And I'll explain what it's doing. Okay, now going on, they did downgrade it to Wi-Fi 5 over the 4K model. We're going to look at a comparison in a second. Internal storage is 8 gigabytes, which again, I don't think matters as much. External storage, we don't know, right? We don't know if you can upgrade it or not. USB count, 1. What does that even mean? USB count? Oh, the USB. It's going to have the USB-C, it looks like. Okay, that's good. I hope that's... Oh, no, it's a USB micro still. Why didn't they go USB-C? Cheap. Amazon's so cheap. 2.0 Vega OS 1. So it is the first generation. Not Android, of course. 32-bit, 4K, 60 FPS. This is a 4K stick. HDR10, HDR10 Plus. But here's an important thing with the video quality. No Dolby Vision either, which is also a downgrade from the 4K. The regular 4K, the Fire, the Android-based one. Okay. Standard, upscaling, all this stuff. So the rest of these don't matter as much. HDMI extender. Now, it's important to note that this is basically just a normal Fire Stick. It looks no different. It looks like they just did the exact same housing as the 4K and or one of the models. I think that's the same housing as the newer 4K, and basically just switched it with the Vega OS operating system. That's it, right? So there's really not a whole lot of effort or thought into making a new branding. And I think this is the reason why. And I want you guys to comment down below. So my guess is Amazon is going to slowly phase out the Fire TV models. They might even still do version updates, but I don't think they're going to create any more with Fire TV OS. Instead, they need to wait for enough apps to be available on Vega to make people want to buy it more. Now, don't get me wrong, they are going to sell millions of these on October 15th. There's so many people in the world. It's a brand new product. It's only $40. They're going to sell millions straight out the bag. Now, let me show you what the big concern is. A lot of people want to know about sideloading, but let's start by talking about official apps. So Amazon has published an extensive Vega OS developer documentation for all those wanting technical details. Now, this means developers will start to be able to create brand new apps for it. But here's the interesting part. Vega OS apps are essentially web pages, and the operating system is like a purpose-built web page, as AFTV News here is explaining. And as he explains here, this is perfectly fine for your average streaming app because they're already built on that. But is severely limiting for apps that are not built like web pages, such as games and utilities, which is what Amazon wants. They don't want as many third-party creators here. They want to make it difficult for third-party apps to be sideloaded. However, it looks like it is still going to be possible to sideload it using something like Android's ATB utility. So that's where you can actually get the ADB commands. I think it said ATP, but ADB commands and basically send it over and to your Fire Stick. But that is going to be a huge hassle. So yes, it looks like there might still be ways to sideload this. Cody might be able to create, for example, a Vega OS version of it, but it's not going to be as easy to put on. And we know Amazon's not going to put it in their official app store. So we're going to see what happens with that. But that is not the biggest frustration here. But the thing is, I think Amazon is also going to use this as a bit of a testing period because at launch, it might have all the major streaming apps, but I don't think it's going to have much more than that. And I'm very interested to see what the operating system looks like. Are they just going to like straight up throw on like Fire TV OS looking operating system, but changed a little bit? Or is it going to be a brand new experience? I am really interested to see where Amazon is going with this. And I think this is also a bit of a testing period. They're going to have all these lab rats that are coming in. Sorry if you're going to buy one, I'm buying one, so I'm a lab rat. And they're going to be able to see how much more control and how much more money they're making off advertisements because of their closed system. And I got something to break to you. It's going to be a lot more, or it's going to be more at the very least, because they've planned it out to be more. They already know the data. They already know what they need to do to feed you better ads, to get you in their ecosystem more and get away from people being able to sideload, being able to stop watching advertisements. They want to create a more seamless experience. And that's where I think you guys come in. And instead of buying it, this what is going to be a limited device, by the way. Like I don't think you're gonna get something closer to a Roku experience, I believe, like Roku Lite, right? Because it's gonna be a first version. And really, I think that's the main reason why nobody should really touch this at launch, right? You should really wait, let people like me check it out. Let me tell you if you should buy it. And by the way, I'll also be giving a few away just for the hell of it, because I want to hook you guys up. So make sure you watch that video. That's going to be launching probably on October 15th or the 16th at the very least, the next day, once I have a chance to kind of get through it and edit it a little bit. Yeah, guys, that's really the main reason why I think you should stay away from this. Some people are going to tell you buy it. Some people are going to tell you to wait. Stay away from it. I don't think it's worth it. Before we take off, though, if you guys are enjoying the content and you're like, man, this guy, he's average looking. He's nice. He's kind of funny. One great way of supporting me, since YouTube is paying creators a lot less this year, companies aren't advertising as much, is to go down below in the link, right? So I'm not poor anymore. Click on this link. It will take you to my discount for IP Vanish. Now, getting this not only supports me because I get a kickback, but you also get a great service. And one of the whole parts of my channel is I teach you how to use a service like this for things like unlocking Netflix, accessing different streaming services, protecting your online activity. You get 83% off. It's $2 a month. You get a 30-day money back guarantee, and you get the brand new bonus, which is 3 GB of eSIM data. So totally worth it, guys. And if you can't do that, I totally understand. Just subscribe down below. That works too, and get notified next time there's a video. Bye, guys.